Welcome back to your nerdy show. I'm your host, Spoiler Master. Today, we're diving into the latest episode of Invincible Season 3, Episode 4. From tense confrontations to shocking twists, this episode delivers some major developments for Mark, Eve, and even the Viltrumites. So let's break it down. Mark's struggles with the Guardians and his family. This episode starts with some ongoing personal and professional struggles for Mark. He's already left the Guardians of the Globe after a huge fallout with Cecil. For context, Cecil implanted a chip in Mark's head that allows him to control Mark's actions. That's a huge breach of trust, and Mark is understandably furious. Mark isn't the only one upset. Rexplode, Ray, Rudy, Amanda, and Bulletproof are equally appalled by Cecil's actions, and they all leave the team as well. On the personal side, things aren't going any smoother. Mark is struggling with his family dynamics, especially when he sees his mom, Debbie, dating Paul. It's a hard pill to swallow, and you can tell it's causing him a lot of emotional distress. Plus, there's that lingering issue with Oliver. Mark and Eve's relationship evolves. But on the flip side, we finally see Mark and Eve getting closer. After a series of ups and downs, they officially get together. It's a heartwarming moment, and there's a lot of sweetness in seeing them finally connect. But of course, it's Invincible, so just as things start looking up, there's a twist. A mysterious drone is spying on the Graysons. Mark's instincts tell him it's probably Cecil, so he heads to the Pentagon to confront his old boss. But things take an even darker turn when Cecil activates the chip in Mark's head, incapacitating him. Cecil assures him that he's not the one behind the spying. In fact, it's someone else entirely. Mark doesn't buy it, but he's got bigger things on his mind. The new supervillains, Dropkick and Fightmaster. Now, things go off the rails when Mark meets the new supervillains of the week, Dropkick and Fightmaster. These two villains drag Mark into another dimension, hoping he'll help them kill their tyrannical ruler. It's a request Mark immediately rejects, but Dropkick and Fightmaster aren't taking no for an answer. They pull Mark into their timeline, and soon enough, we're thrust into yet another interdimensional conflict. As we dive deeper into this strange new world, we learn that centuries ago, the planet was on the brink of collapse. A mysterious, powerful superhuman was made the ruler of the entire planet, and for a while, things were looking up, but the ruler slowly descended into madness, and soon he began enslaving or killing anyone who spoke out against him. The ruling superhuman also had a robot army, making him nearly invincible. The villains Dropkick and Fightmaster stole the Declaration of Independence from Mark's world because there was a rumor that a bullet made from its ink could kill their king. Spoiler alert, it didn't work. Mark faces an unexpected enemy, the Immortal. So Mark gets pulled into this mess because Dropkick and Fightmaster are convinced that he's the only one who can kill their king. They believe that if he could handle Multi-Paul's endless clones and the Reaniman back on Earth, he's the right person for the job. After hearing their story, Mark reluctantly agrees to help them, but it doesn't go smoothly. The trio ends up captured by the king's robot army, and Mark is taken to face the ruler. And guess what? The ruler is none other than the Immortal. But before we get into the specifics of the showdown, let's take a moment to talk about what this means for Mark. The Immortal is no stranger to Mark. He's seen the Immortal in action before, but this version of the Immortal is different. This version is broken, damaged, and ruled by the trauma of ruling a world for centuries. The Immortal recognizes Mark's appearance and believes he's talking to the Mark he knew. He even mentions how Mark trusted him to be Earth's ruler once, and how that trust ultimately led to his downfall. It's a heartbreaking moment because it reveals just how much pressure the Immortal was under, and how Mark's earlier decisions came with far-reaching consequences. The tragic end, Mark's heartbreaking decision, as the Immortal begins to spiral out of control, asking Mark to kill him to end his suffering. Mark is put in a truly tough spot. He doesn't want to kill anyone, especially not someone who was once a hero. But the Immortal doesn't leave him with much choice. The Immortal becomes a violent, raging tyrant. And Mark has no option but to do what's necessary. In a truly gut-wrenching moment, Mark decapitates the Immortal, ending the reign of this broken ruler. It's a painful decision, and it's clear that Mark isn't celebrating this victory. He's just left feeling hollow, knowing that another version of him caused this pain. Now, Dropkick and Fightmaster are grateful for what Mark has done, but Mark can't shake the feeling of guilt. It's another life taken because of the mistakes of a future version of him. After the mission is over, Mark is teleported back to his timeline with the Declaration of Independence in hand. It's a pretty emotional return, but Eve is there to remind him that the mistakes of the past don't define him. Eve's words are encouraging, and it's nice to see that even in the midst of all the chaos, she's there to ground Mark and keep him from spiraling. It's a sign that their relationship is growing stronger, and she's going to be there for him when the tough decisions weigh heavy. Returning the Declaration and a new beginning. Before long, Mark and Eve head to Washington, D.C. to return the stolen Declaration of Independence to the National Archives. The weight of the situation is still heavy on Mark, but together they go on a journey to make up for the disastrous date in Paris. In a way, this little side mission shows the quieter side of their relationship. While the universe may be filled with constant threats, sometimes it's about returning to the little things and repairing the bigger damage. Alan and Nolan's escape from Viltrumite prison. The episode then shifts gears back to Viltrumite prison, where we check in with Alan the alien. For those of you who don't remember, Alan was captured by the Viltrumites in Season 2, and he's been stuck in their prison ever since. Alan has one goal: to free Nolan, the partially reformed Viltrumite, and take him to the coalition of planets. Nolan's been a complicated character, and even though we saw some of his redemption in Season 2, in this season he's still grappling with his past actions. Nolan even goes so far as to wish for the Viltrumites to execute him, considering his failure to conquer Earth. But things take a turn when Alan manages to break his cuffs and free the other prisoners. Chaos erupts in the prison, and Alan's mission becomes a battle for survival. It's a brutal and bloody fight, and we even see Battle Beast make an appearance. This mighty warrior is on a hunt for worthy opponents, and it looks like the Viltrumites will give him all the glory he's been searching for. The Viltrumite Empire on the brink of collapse. As Alan leads Nolan through the prison, we see the intensity of the fight unfold. There's action, there's blood, and there's just pure chaos as the Viltrumite guards try to regain control. But it's not just about the fight. Alan shares an important piece of information with Nolan. The Viltrumite Empire is crumbling. There are fewer than 50 pure-blooded Viltrumites left, and that's a secret the Viltrumites have kept hidden for a long time. This revelation changes everything, especially for Nolan, who realizes that the Viltrumites might be vulnerable if the coalition really puts everything into taking them down. The fight finally culminates in Alan smashing through the walls of the Viltrumite prison, sending everyone floating out into the cold vacuum of space. The Viltrumite guards are instantly killed, and a final standoff takes place between Alan, Nolan, and the remaining executioners. Battle Beast, meanwhile, is having the time of his life, off somewhere else in space, still fighting another executioner. It's a bit of a chaotic conclusion, but it leaves Nolan and Alan free to escape and head toward Tailscria, where the coalition of planets is headquartered. Mark and Eve's future. A new chapter. Back on Earth, Mark and Eve get a little personal time. They've been through a lot in this episode, but they're starting to think about their future. Mark mentions that he's considering getting a place of their own, somewhere where they can have privacy and start fresh. It's a quiet moment, but it marks a new chapter for them both. Our nerdy thoughts. And that's how the episode wraps up. There's action, emotional growth, and a glimpse into the larger battles unfolding between the Viltrumites and the coalition. Mark has been through a lot, but he's also learning from his mistakes and trying to forge his own path with Eve by his side. It's a complex episode full of emotional moments and high stakes. So, what do you think? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below.
No, what the heck, I'll laugh anyway.